This MMA content is proudly brought to you by the AllStar app, a fully customizable ad-free sports experience. Download it now.
This bantamweight Grand Prix, man, it's an exciting adventure right here. 5-round fights, interim title. I've also believe $1 million. Is that right? Am I right about that?
Yep, absolutely. The winner of this tournament, which will be me, gets the $1 million, and most importantly, the bantamweight championship, which is going to be the best title there is in the bantamweight division. I think Bellator has the deepest division, so I think a Grand Prix win here just solidifies the best bantamweight in the world.
For sure. And the thoughts on the whole tournament process from your perspective and its rewards, man, because the rewards are big, like you said.
Yeah, I love it. I think MMA should have more of it. Every other sport does it. It's just the playoffs in every other sport. Football does it, baseball does it, basketball, hockey, you name it. They all have a playoff type system. MMA doesn't really do that, but I think we're starting to transition into it. And it just makes a lot of sense, get the best guys and have them duke it out. And this way, there's really no room for excuses or people to say that someone else is better or they didn't get their opportunity or shot to prove themselves. Sometimes when you don't have a tournament, the promotion can kind of pick and choose the guy to get the title shot and all that. But with this, it's if you win, you're going to advance and move on, and that's how it is. And plus, I think it's more exciting for the fans. I think even with this whole wild card thing, it's a little bit more exciting. Other sports have that as well. So I think it's just life or death in this situation. April 22nd in Honolulu, Hawaii. It's going to be very exciting because the winner of this fight gets in the tournament, and it's obviously going to be me.
The whole wild card thing, it's an exciting, little twist to the tournament, and you're part of it. But some people will think, man, being a wild card is not that good compared to like just being in the tournament because you have to fight one more time. But actually, a lot of these tournaments, the wild card ends up winning the whole damn thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? At the end of the day, I fight because I love fighting. If the wild card spot gets another fight under their belt, I'll take it. That's what I want. I'm not just looking to get an easy road to the finals or just be called the champion. The bottom line is I love fighting. That's always been my love in life is just fighting. So obviously with the wild card position, you get more fights. If in order for me to win this tournament, I need to win 4 fights. Everybody else other than the other wild card spot has to win 3. So I get another fight under my belt and more money. So, at the end of the day, I think I like it, the spot that I'm in, especially now that I'm fighting Jornel Lugo. That's actually a guy I've been calling out for a while now. We're both from South Florida. We were both on the regional scene. So even when I was back in Titan, I was calling that guy out just because he's a pussy and it's a good matchup for me. This is a guy that I beat the shit out of 10 out of 10 times. There's no chance that this guy beats me. So, it's just, it all added up. At first I wasn't in this position. I wasn't in the tournament, but I knew that somebody was going to back out of the tournament because not everybody's tough. There's a lot of pussies in this sport. So when you got 8 spots, I figured someone's going to be a pussy. That pussy is James Gallagher, of course. He sucks anyways. So now that I got my spot, I'm just going to make the most of it.
And Lugo, he's an undefeated fighter, like you've been saying that you've wanted to fight him for a while, so you've been probably watching his tape. What are your thoughts on him and the style that he brings in that cage?
Yeah, he sucks. He's 8-0. He's undefeated, so obviously he's above average. But I've been watching a couple of his fights. I watched his last fight in Ireland against Brian Moore, and he just doesn't impress me. I don't think he's really good anywhere. I know he's more of like a stand-up guy traditionally, but I don't think his stand-up is very good. He can be a little tricky because he starts off southpaw, then transitions into orthodox. He's got a quick jab, but other than that, I don't see any threat that he poses to me. I think my skill set is just so much better than his. I think on my worst day, I beat him. But you know what? Wherever this fight goes, whether it's on the feet or on the ground, I'm going to beat him. It doesn't matter. This fight's going wherever I want. Maybe I'll keep it on the feet. Maybe I'll keep it on the ground. Either way, I think he's fucked. Either way, I think he bleeds a lot. Either way, I think I bash his face in. The goal for me this fight isn't just to beat Jornel Lugo. It's to make him remember the fight that we fight. I don't want him to ever forget the time he fights Danny Sabatello, and I want it to be the most violent fight that he ever has. So the goal isn't just to win; it's to go out there, of course, and just dominate him.
I love the honesty and the realities in your mind of how you see this matchup. Where does the confidence come from though? Like where does this brashness come from?
Yeah, the confidence comes from my work ethic, my sacrifices, and just my training habits, really. I'm originally from Chicago. I moved down here in South Florida to be a part of the best gym in the world, American Top Team. I did that maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And you know what? I'm always in training camp. All these fighters talk about training camps. I'm always at the gym twice a day, every single day of the week. I know nobody out there is outworking me or having more sacrifices than me. So I'm very confident individual as it is. Even before I got into fighting, my wrestling career, I was always confident. It doesn't matter what we're doing. We could be shooting hoops, and I'm confident that I'm going to be the best person in basketball. That's just been my personality. But you take into account me going with the best training partners in the entire world, having the best coaches in the entire world behind my back. How could I lose? All I got to do basically is just show up to American Top Team and train hard, and everything will take care of itself. And that's really what I've been doing. I don't miss practice too much. In fact, never. And that's just really where the confidence comes from. It's just being Danny Sabatello, sacrificing, hard work, and most of all, going out there and performing. A lot of guys are good in practice. A lot of guys are good inside the gym, but they're pussies when it comes to under the lights, under the microphone, and with everything on you, with the audience looking at you. People just don't perform. But that's where I shine my brightest.
You made your Bellator debut last May in an incredible fight, man. Just a dominant performance. And then you were booked again in August against Johnny Campbell. That fight was canceled due to COVID. How pissed off were you, man? Because I knew that after that Brett Johns fight, you had a lot of momentum, but then you couldn't carry it into the next fight. And then now you've pretty much waited almost a year.
Yeah, it really sucks because you know what? I had 5 days notice to fight a guy like Brett Johns, whose only losses are in the UFC are to Pedro Munoz and Aljamain Sterling. He's a guy that was ranked top 10 in the UFC at one point. And then I get a call from my manager to fight him on 5 days notice, and I go out there and I absolutely dominate him. I left no doubt that I was the better fighter. So obviously everybody was starting to talk about me. That was about a year ago, and it just sucks because I've wanted to fight a lot since then. After that, I got booked against Johnny Campbell, and I was actually in Connecticut, and a couple of days before the fight, tested positive for corona. Of course, they had to axe that fight, and just never really picked up steam. I've been healthy. I've been calling for fights. I've been calling people out. But a lot of people in this game are pussies. Everyone says anywhere, anytime, but that's just not true in this game. Everybody tries to pick and choose their fights. It's been tough getting fights, but now that I'm in the Grand Prix, people have to fight me. I was actually supposed to fight a couple months ago in St. Louis against a guy named Richie Palencia. He verbally committed, and then when the contract came from Bellator, of course, he didn't sign it, and he backed out like a bitch. But you know what? I don't want to talk about the past or think too much about the past because it's landed me here in these shoes to win $1 million and become the Bellator bantamweight champion of the world. So I really can't complain. That is what it is. I'm not going to make people fight me. I can't make people fight me. If people want to be pussies, the world needs pussies like them. But, it just sucks when people say they'll fight you and they don't. But you know what? That is what it is. I'm just focused on April 22nd in Honolulu, Hawaii, and beating the shit out of Jornel Lugo.
11 months between fights is a lot of time to make improvements, to make tweaks. Have you made some, and where do you feel like you've made the most improvements in your skill set?
Yeah, absolutely. My last fight 11 months ago was against Brett Johns, and me dominating him, that just, it goes to show you what have I been up to the past 11 months. What I've been up to is getting better. I'm still training at American Top Team every day, twice a day. I think the area that I've gotten a little bit better in is my stand-up, because this game is somewhat new to me. I graduated college about 4 or 5 years ago, and I wrestled at college. I wrestled in the Big Ten at Purdue. So I didn't really have too much of a striking background. I didn't really box or kickbox or do Muay Thai growing up. That all was new. But, I think I've always had a good stand-up game for a while now. But in these past 11 months, I've really gotten it crisp. When I first started out, obviously I wanted the fight to be on the ground because that's my strong suit. My jiu-jitsu and my grappling is just really good. My wrestling is incredible. But now just stuff on the feet just comes natural to me. You know what? And even in sparring, I get myself a little bit of trouble. I'm only doing rounds on the feet, and my coaches are like, what the fuck are you doing? Take them down. That's your game plan. And it's just, striking has become fun to me, and I've just gotten better and better at it. And, when you get better at something, you just want to do it more just because you enjoy it more. So I've gotten better on the feet for sure. I've gotten better on the ground. I've just gotten better as a overall mixed martial artist. In 11 months, when you're first starting something, you become a whole different fighter. And if people thought I was good when I was dominating Brett Johns 11 months ago, they're going to be in for a real treat and here in maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Do you feel like in the next 5 fights or so, you'll be able to just show another level of striking and then kind of round out your whole skill set to the point where, you're at that unbeatable status?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? It goes back to what I was saying. How I want to dominate Jornel Lugo. I see myself dominating this tournament. There's a lot of good guys in it. This is the Bellator bantamweight division is just so deep, and there's just so much talent in it. That's just why I love that. The champion of this is just going to get a lot of attention, as they should, just because of the road that you had to go through. But again, my goal isn't just to go out there and win. I'm too good for that. I think my skill set is too good. My conditioning is too good. I'm too quick. I'm too fast. I'm too powerful. I'm too smart for these guys. I'm too tough. But yeah, I just see myself finishing all these guys. I want to dominate them and I want to finish them. With this first fight against Jornel Lugo, I don't necessarily want to finish him real quick because I don't want him to go back and say that it was a fluke. I don't want him to say that I caught him in a submission or a quick knockout or anything like that. I want to inflict pain on him. I want it to be very violent. I want to see him bleed. I want to see blood on the canvas. I want to restructure his face. That's a guy that in the first round, I'm just going to try to just beat the shit out of him. He's going to want to get out. He's going to get desperate. He's going to try to end the fight with something smooth, something slick, something crazy. She's going to try to catch me with some type of head kick, I assume, or some type of submission, guillotine if I go for a double leg. But, I'm too good for that to happen. I'm not going to give him the easy way out. And then I'll eventually get the submission or the knockout in the second or third round. But, I see that fight playing out also in that next round, not looking ahead or anything because it's Jornel Lugo first. But that next round, I'll have Hyon in Connecticut in June, I believe June 24th. And that's also a guy that I see myself dominating him. I want to go out there and impose my will on these guys, and I just want to dominate them.
Do you see yourself as the dark horse of the tournament, or is there someone else that is the dark horse?
Yeah, it's weird. Most of MMA fans are fucking idiots. So a lot of them think that I'm a dark horse or, they say that, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to do anything. But at the same time, those same people are mad at me because I didn't finish a guy like Brett Johns on 5 days notice. So, they got to pick and choose if I'm a dark horse or I'm the favorite. In my mind, I think I'm the favorite. And you know what? And just the attention towards my name, I would say I'm actually more of a favorite than a dark horse, which might not make too much sense. But you know what? If guys are saying that Danny Sabatello gets a call on 5 days notice and he's got Brett Johns, a guy that was top 10 in the UFC and he was ending on wins, he's on his way up. So if you're calling out me to dominate him and finish him and saying, oh, it was a boring fight because you didn't finish him, man, I got some fucking high expectations from the fans. So, I think it's a little bit of both. I think since I'm in a wild card spot, people think I'm a dark horse, but the real true fans that follow MMA, I think they know my skill set. They know where I'm coming from. And I don't really necessarily look at me as a dark horse.
Yeah, I think people need to study some of these fighters before they actually start watching these fights because there's some incredible matchups. Let's say you're not in the tournament, right? Let's say you're outside of the tournament. Who do you see as the favorite to win it all amongst the fighters that are in it?
Kyoji Horiguchi, absolutely. He's my teammate at American Top Team. He's actually a good friend of mine. A lot of people don't know this, but he actually cornered me my first 4 fights. You know what? It's just unfortunate that we're in the same tournament together. We still see each other at the gym. We still talk. We're still good friends. You know what? This game is brutal, and it is what it is. And, that's a guy that I will see in the finals. I think mine and his skill set is just above everybody else's. I think I beat him in the finals, and I hope I do just because, that's my teammate. I want him to do good always. There's no ill or bad blood there. When we do fight, maybe it will be a little bit different because you kind of switch your mindset up a little bit. But yeah, if I wasn't in the tournament, Kyoji would for sure win this. He's so quick, he's so fast, and he's a great fighter. But I am in this, so I got to beat Kyoji in the finals. And you know what? When that time comes, we're not going to switch camps. We're not going to switch out of ATT. We're still going to be there before and after the fight. We're going to be good friends still. That's just, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm here to accomplish my goals, my dreams, and I'll fight anybody. I don't give a fuck if my grandma's in the cage. I'll beat the shit out of my grandma. It doesn't matter to me. I got to accomplish what I got to accomplish, no matter who's standing there next to me.
Are you still training with Horiguchi for this upcoming fight?
Before that I was announced to be in the Grand Prix, we would train every single day, actually. So I do 2 practices a day, I would say on average, just one of the practices. We were partners. But, now that it's been announced that I'm in the tournaments, even though we are on the opposite sides and a lot does happen, this game's crazy. This isn't football or baseball or basketball. This isn't football where if you miss a block, you know, the guy gains an extra yard, or, you know what, basketball, bad pass. Ooh, wow, 2 points, a dunk. Who gives a fuck? You know, this is fighting where if your hands are out of position, slightly 1 inch, man, it's lights out. You're knocked out, and then that's it. That's the end of the fight. Or your neck's in a different position. Good night. See you later. You're submitted. So a lot does have to happen for me to him to be in the finals. I got to win 3 fights to get there. He's got to win 2 fights to get there. But yeah, given that we're very confident individuals, he thinks that he's going to be in the finals. I think I'm going to be in the finals. So just going from there, we haven't gone too much together just because we will probably end up seeing each other in the finals. But again, you never know. This game is fucking crazy. Maybe I won't get there. Maybe he won't get there. If I was betting on it, I would put us both there. But yeah, we're not training too much anymore.
All right. You know, a lot of Bellator fighters have been going over to Japan and competing with Ryzen. Is that something on your bucket list?
Yeah, I think it would be a fun experience to do. I've actually never been there, and I really do like that promotion as well. Kyoji used to fight over there, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I always watch Kyoji's fights growing up and all that stuff. You know, he's been a good friend of mine, like I said. You know, you never know what the future will entail. You never know what's going to happen. I'm very happy at Bellator. I think they're very professional. They pay good. Everything's good about them. They run a good show. I love that they're on Showtime. And I love just the way how they do business. So I'm very happy with Bellator. I see myself being with them for a long time. I think something would have to happen for me to not be with them. But yeah, you never know. I am a big fan of Ryzen, but you know, we'll see.
Yeah, you know, having the Ryzen belt and the Bellator belt at the same time, like Kyoji had, that looked pretty nice, right?
You know what? At the end of the day, after you become a world champion and you have the belt, you just want more belts. So once I do get that Bellator belt, I will probably be more than likely calling up for that Ryzen belt. But, you know, first things first, I got to win this Bellator belt, and then we'll go from there. But, and also that Ryzen belt is sick too. I love it. But yeah, we'll just have to see one step at a time.
All right, man. April 22nd, Bellator 278, Hawaii. Danny, appreciate the time, man, and good luck on the rest of the camp, and all the best in the fight.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.